Here he goes again. Here he goes again. Rex Ryan back lying, back being a hater for no reason on Shedeur Sanders. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what it is in your heart, Rex Ryan, that has you so envious and with so much hate towards Shedeur Sanders, but you might need to go seek a therapist. You need to go get some sort of help. We got to get into this, man. Rex Ryan is disgusting. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit the bell.
He was never supposed to make it this far. Not according to the men who get paid to have opinions about quarterbacks. Not according to Rex Ryan. And yet here he is, standing on a football field surrounded by kids who look at him like he hung the moon, while a 62-year-old former head coach sits behind a microphone hundreds of miles away trying to convince America that Shedeur Sanders is a problem, a distraction, a kid who thinks the game revolves around him. The kids on that field would tell you something different. This is the story of a rookie who keeps getting doubted, keeps getting picked apart, and keeps answering the only way he knows how. Not with a press conference, not with a Twitter rant, but by showing up again and again and again. Let's start with the noise, because there's always noise around Shedeur Sanders. Rex Ryan has made a habit out of this. Last September, when Shedeur was a rookie trying to learn an NFL playbook under a first-year spotlight most 20-something-year-olds could never survive, Ryan went on television and suggested the kid wasn't putting in the work, called him an embarrassment for not immediately taking the starting job from a veteran roster. No context, no nuance, just a headline built to get clicks, dropped onto a young quarterback who hadn't even played a full season yet. And that's the game, isn't it? Say something loud enough, often enough, and people start to believe it, whether or not it's true. So when the Browns dropped a new photo shoot featuring their young quarterbacks, cameras flashing, uniforms fresh, the kind of content every franchise puts out to build hype around its future, Rex Ryan found a new angle. He looked at a picture of a kid smiling in a Browns jersey and turned it into a talking point. Said the league needed more than just talent. Said there had to be more to a franchise quarterback than what showed up in a photo. It's a strange thing to be criticized for, existing in a marketing photo.
Notification, hype the video, that'd be greatly appreciated. We got to get right into this. So, Rex Ryan, and this here's courtesy of the Dogs Podcast. Okay, Rex Ryan is back to trashing Shedeur Sanders, this time for the Browns' recent QB's photo shoot, okay? He's mad at Shedeur Sanders for this photo. He's trashing him online for it. He said, get a load of this kid. Great talent needs to be realized as a friend.
But that's the pattern with Shedeur Sanders. It's never really about the football. It's about the perception, the swagger, the confidence he inherited from a father who built an entire career on being unapologetically himself. People don't know what to do with that kind of self-assurance in a rookie, so they look for reasons to knock it down. And it's not just Rex Ryan. Turn on any sports debate show and you'll find some version of the same argument, recycled week after week. Analysts who've never met him, breaking down his posture in a photo like it's game film, reading body language into a picture the way you'd read tea leaves. It's become a cottage industry, manufacturing doubt about a kid who hasn't even had a full off-season to prove or disprove anything yet. Here's what they don't show you on the shows where grown men argue about 22-year-olds for a living. They don't show you Shedeur Sanders standing in the middle of a youth football camp back in Cleveland, surrounded by kids from the community, cameras rolling for a very different reason. Not a photo shoot built for hype, a camp built for kids who don't often get someone like him showing up in person. Someone asked him that day what he was even doing there and why it mattered to be there right then in that moment. His answer wasn't rehearsed. He talked about the sky, about the music playing, about the shirts everyone had on and the work it took to pull it all together. He said he was genuinely amazed, not performing amazement, actually amazed. That's not the profile of a kid who thinks football is only about him. When the children came running at him like he was a rock star, he laughed it off, joked that in his world he supposed he was a superhero. But then he got serious for a second. Talked about how athletes get isolated, how the job pulls you away from the world, puts you behind gates and security and practice schedules, until you forget what it feels like to just be present with people. He said giving back wasn't complicated, it was simple, and that simplicity mattered to him.
Rex Ryan is running around being a pure hater and a liar. Check it out.
Start with the hard one. What are you doing here and why are you doing it?
Right now, it's an amazing day. Look at the sky. You hear the music. Look at the merch everybody has on. Look at the teamwork that it took for us to all come here and be able to get this done. And I'm truly happy. I'm truly amazed by it. And just one thought, came to life. And that's what.
Contrast that with a 62-year-old former coach going on national television to question a rookie's character based on a magazine-style photo. One of these two people is actually doing the work in the community. It's not the guy with the microphone. Now let's talk about something that happened away from the cameras entirely, something that says more about who Shedeur Sanders is becoming than any hot take ever could. Before this season, Shedeur and Deshaun Watson, two quarterbacks technically in competition for the same job, flew down to Miami together, not for a photo op, not for content, for work. A group of Browns players, whoever schedule allowed it, came together in the offseason to train, to build chemistry, to figure out how to be a team before the team was even required to be one. Think about that for a second. Two men fighting for the same starting job, voluntarily training side by side, away from coaches, away from cameras, away from anyone forcing them to. When someone asked Shedeur what that Miami trip said about his relationship with Deshaun, he didn't dodge it. He said they'd been saying the same thing since day one. They're both just trying to be the best versions of themselves, and neither one is going to let competition get in the way of respect. He talked about a level of respect in that quarterback room that doesn't get shaken by things they can't control. He said if he sees something Deshaun does well, he asks about it. If Deshaun sees something in his game, the conversation goes the other way. No egos, no sabotage. Just two men trying to get better together in a business built to pit them against each other. That's not the story the narrative wants you to hear. The narrative wants tension, division, a rookie trying to steal a job out under a veteran, causing locker room drama. The reality is two grown men in Miami working out, building trust, because they understand something bigger than the noise around them.
We saw some video clips of you guys down in Miami, all working out together. How did that all go, and how might that help you guys head into training?
Yeah, I think it was extremely important that us as a group, for whoever was available to come down to Miami, and there was a couple other players that schedules didn't align with it.
And it wasn't just the two of them. Other teammates made the trip too, whenever their own schedules allowed it. Picture that scene for a second. No coaches barking instructions, no strength staff running drills, just a group of grown men choosing on their own time to sweat together before anyone told them they had to. Shedeur talked about that bond afterward, how different it felt outside the walls of the facility, how those relationships built away from the job became something irreplaceable once the season actually started. That's the kind of thing that doesn't show up in a highlight package, but it shows up in a locker room when the losses start piling up and a team needs to trust each other to fight through it. This is where the story shifts, because it's easy to talk about a kid's confidence when things are going well. It's a lot harder to talk about what's underneath it, where it actually comes from. Shedeur was asked about his mindset heading into his second year, and his answer wasn't about stats or job security. He said his mindset is just how he thinks every single day. Be the best version of himself he can be, on the field, off the field, in the community, spiritually, emotionally, all of it, not just the parts that show up on a stat sheet. That's a very different kind of confidence than the one people accuse him of having. It's not arrogance, it's discipline dressed up as swagger, because that's the language he grew up speaking. And when you understand where that discipline comes from, the picture gets even clearer. He talked about growing up watching his father run youth camps just like the one he was standing in that day. Said back then, he just thought it was fun. It wasn't until he got older that he understood how hard his parents worked to pull those events together, coordinating thousands of kids, managing personalities, managing parents, managing chaos most people never see. He said it's truly draining. Truly a lot. And he said it with real respect in his voice for anyone who takes on that kind of responsibility.
Say about you and Deshaun that you two went down to Miami together and that you brought the team together as the two quarterbacks sort of, in this competition with each other.
Yeah, I would say it's the same thing that we've been saying from day one. We both trying to be the best version of ourselves we could be. So we're not going to let anything get in between of that. So it's a level of respect, that we all in the quarterback room have for each other. And we're not really emotional when it comes to things that we can't control.
This is a kid who was raised inside the machinery of community work long before he ever put on an NFL uniform. The generosity isn't new, it's inherited. So when Rex Ryan stands in front of cameras questioning his character over a photo shoot, it's worth asking, has Rex Ryan ever actually watched what this young man does when nobody's forcing him to? Now, if you're enjoying this story, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because we're about to get into exactly why this criticism keeps missing the point, and what's coming next for Shedeur Sanders that could change the entire conversation. Let's talk about the deeper criticism, the one that isn't really about football at all. People love comparing him to his father. Some use it as praise, others use it as a weapon, insisting he's only gotten this far because of the last name stitched into his story. But when you actually listen to how he talks about football, about teammates, about community, none of it sounds like a kid riding on a name. It sounds like a kid who understands legacy is something you have to earn every single day, not something handed to you once and never touched again. He was asked what it means to connect with so many young people across so many different cities, so many different camps, and his answer cuts right through the noise around him. He said he likes to walk around and touch people's lives, plain and simple. Said the people who supported him when he needed it most are the reason he shows up now. He called it fulfillment, not obligation, fulfillment. And then he said something that tells you everything about how his mind works. He said after every event, his first thought isn't relief that it's over, it's what can be improved next time? How can they make the field cleaner? How can they make the experience better for the next group of kids? Always thinking forward, always trying to build something bigger than the moment he's standing in. That's the turning point in this whole story. Not a stat line, not a highlight reel throw, a mindset that refuses to stay still, refuses to be satisfied, refuses to let criticism dictate how hard he works behind the scenes. Because here's the truth about people like Rex Ryan. They react to headlines, they react to photos, they react to 15-second clips pulled out of context and packaged for outrage. What they don't react to, what they conveniently never mention, is a rookie quarterback spending his offseason building chemistry with a teammate he's competing against. A young man standing in the Cleveland heat, sweating through community events most players skip entirely. A kid who talks about spiritual growth and emotional growth in the same breath as football growth, because to him, they're not separate things.